Alright y'all, today we are talking about those mysterious test reels. These are the videos Instagram throws out there just to see what actually sticks with the public. I've been getting bombarded with DMs asking for the secret sauce on these things. Here's the honest tea. I can share what works for me, but understand there's no single magic key for every single person. I want to break down my learnings and give you a tactical workflow you can copy, so you stop wasting time guessing. First, let's get real about how Instagram handles these initial posts. When you publish a test reel, they typically show it to people who don't already follow you. They often skip blasting it out to your existing audience right away. This isn't a glitch, it's the entire purpose. They gauge resonance outside your bubble first. So, I treat everything I put into that test pool as a genuine experiment. If it performs well, that's fantastic news for us. If it flops, no big deal, because I still walked away having learned a valuable lesson. Here's a quick hack that I absolutely swear by when I'm prepping content. Whenever you finish a reel you really like, immediately save a copy over to your drafts folder. From drafts, you can easily tap the duplicate button to make two identical versions. You use one copy for the initial test pool and keep the second one pristine for your main feed later on. Go ahead and make that initial test version live for a few days. If that test post starts getting serious traction, then you publish the clean duplicate to your profile grid. This simple trick saves you a ton of editing time down the road. It keeps your main feed looking polished while letting the algorithm work organically without constant micromanagement. Moving on to the actual code that has consistently worked for me and many other creators. The core elements are really just strong storytelling mixed with absolute clarity. Think about those reels where a creator just pops on and says, "Hi, I'm this person, and I help that person with this specific problem." Those types of videos always perform like mini commercials because, frankly, they are advertising your account. They immediately tell a new viewer exactly what you offer and what kind of content to expect next. The logic is incredibly straightforward. The clearer you define your target audience, the faster strangers convert into followers. That instant definition is crucial for cutting through the noise. Seriously, you absolutely must avoid being vague with your positioning. A statement like, "I share cool Amazon finds" is way too general and won't cut it. Instead, try something specific like, "I'm the designer who calls out tiny space design flaws honestly." Or perhaps, "I teach busy creators how to turn long videos into engaging short clips." Having that crystal clear value proposition in the hook is often what makes a test reel successful. Next up is a highly repeatable approach that has been consistently delivering results for me. The strategy is simple. Find one reel format that genuinely hits, and then rinse and repeat that exact structure. I once had a single reel gain significant traction, so I immediately made 6 subtly different versions of that same concept. These variations included swapped audio, minor text adjustments, and different thumbnail frames, and they all outperformed my random creative swings. Once you nail down that winning format, you have to milk it for all it's worth. Creators who try to reinvent the creative wheel with every single post are guaranteed to burn out quickly. Your job is to copy what works well and then iterate on those proven concepts. Here are a couple of hook structures that consistently draw in the right people. A great example is the POV hook. POV, you're a busy parent tired of the constant chaos and you discover this helpful account. Another powerful one is the direct address hook like, "Hey, you've been posting for a while with low views. Here's one critical thing you haven't been told." Hooks like these instantly filter in the perfect, most receptive audience for your niche. Make sure you use on-screen text to drive the main point home clearly. You need to leave that key text visible long enough for someone to easily read it, aiming for about 4 to 5 seconds. Always pair this with an audio track that is currently trending on the platform for that extra push. Keep the overall edit incredibly snappy, with fast cuts to maintain viewer attention. The caption should reinforce the value proposition, something like "Follow for more tips on X," which subtly nudges people to hit that follow button. A crucial mental shift is to remove all performance pressure from your test reels. Let's be clear, the vast majority of them are absolutely expected to flop. That is literally the entire purpose of putting them into the test pool initially. Reframe them in your mind as highly affordable data gathering experiments. I see so many creators get completely discouraged when one fails, thinking they should just quit. That's the wrong approach entirely. Throw a lot of ideas at the wall, detach emotionally from the immediate results, and focus purely on cataloging what formats get even a tiny bit of traction. Now, let's talk about how a tool like Vizard can completely revolutionize this entire testing workflow for you. This is especially true if your main source of content is long-form material like interviews, podcasts, or detailed courses. The thought of manually scrubbing through hours of video just to find one great 30-second clip is absolutely soul-crushing. This is precisely where Vizard's AI-powered auto-editing takes over the entire process. It intelligently scans your entire source video, pinpoints the highest engagement segments, and outputs perfectly formatted clips ready for upload. This process removes the most time-consuming part, finding that golden clip, allowing you to generate a ton of test reels incredibly fast. In my practical workflow, I shoot my main long video and immediately run it through Vizard. The tool spits out several short clips that are already optimized for viral potential right out of the gate. I select a couple that fit my current hook template, duplicate them, put one in the test pool, and save the other for my feed based on performance. Furthermore, I can quickly create variations, like swapping out the background audio or tweaking the on-screen text. Vizard is built to help batch export all those minor variations simultaneously. This means when I advise you to make 10 versions of a viral hit, Vizard makes that a genuinely achievable task instead of an all-night editing marathon. Let's compare this to other editing tools you might be using right now. CapCut is fantastic for adding trendy manual effects, but you still have to manually select every single clip and make all the creative judgments yourself. Descript works well for edits based on the transcript, but it won't automatically surface the segments that are actually most shareable. Other automated tools out there tend to be either overpriced or too clunky for consistent use. They often surface technically interesting clips that simply don't have the viral energy needed for social feeds. Vizard's true advantage is that it's specifically engineered to surface content up from your long videos that already acts like a native, short-form social clip, and then it helps with the publishing. Speaking of publishing, never underestimate the sheer value of intelligent automation in your testing schedule. Consistent testing is absolutely a numbers game, so you need to queue up posts and let the system run itself. You want to be able to stack your tests and let the platform distribute them without your direct intervention for every single one. Vizard's auto-schedule feature lets you define your posting cadence, like 3 times a week or even 4 times a day. It then publishes those scheduled reels silently in the background while you focus on creating new things. This dramatically reduces mental overhead compared to manually posting every single test, especially if you manage several accounts or recycle old content. Many external schedulers still require you to manually upload and confirm each post individually. Those tools often lack a comprehensive bird's-eye view of your entire content strategy. Vizard's integrated content calendar consolidates everything, showing you what's queued, what is performed, and where you have obvious gaps in your posting rhythm. Here are a few more quick tactical tips that complement this entire testing system perfectly. Utilize trending audio whenever it makes sense, but remember that audio should not be your sole strategy for success. The core value and the hook must still resonate clearly even if someone is viewing your reel with the sound completely turned off. Start your captions with a very clear, action-oriented command like "follow for more tips on topic X" to give a subtle nudge. Test a variety of hook styles, pitting your direct value proposition against more vulnerable, small storytelling moments. You will often find that a raw, authentic story outperforms a very polished, professional pitch, depending heavily on your specific niche. Don't stick to just one approach. Let the data tell you which style your audience prefers. When testing in the initial pool, shorter videos generally perform better, so aim for 15 to 30 seconds. However, if the concept requires more time to tell a satisfying story, it's also wise to test a longer variant around 45 to 60 seconds. Always test both extremes to see where your audience retention peaks. Here's another powerful Vizard-specific tactic to employ once you strike gold with a successful clip. After you identify a clip that is performing well, Vizard can instantly generate several different edits from that single source. These variations include different crop ratios, slightly altered opening frames, and completely new thumbnail options. This means you can automatically generate multiple parallel versions, testing audio, caption, and cover simultaneously without spending any extra editing time yourself. Let me give you a couple of real-life micro-examples from my own content testing history. I once tested a listicle format reel titled 5 Things I Do Before Hitting Record to Look More Professional. That one gained some interest, but it definitely wasn't the runaway viral success I was hoping for. The reels that truly crushed it were those with the super direct hook. Congratulations, you just found the account that helps you with X. Those highly specific hooks converted into new followers at a much more reliable rate. They also held up beautifully when I later promoted them to my main follower base. The final lesson here is to test all formats, lists, POVs, confessions, but always prioritize absolute clarity about your identity and value. If you're wondering about the right volume for this testing system, do not aim for 100 tests in a single day. That level of output is completely overkill and will lead to massive creative burnout in under a week. I personally aim for a manageable 4 or 5 new tests every single day. If one of those daily tests shows promise, I then spin out a couple of those micro variants we discussed earlier. Sometimes I even take older clips that performed well months ago and toss them back into the test pool. I do this just to check if the algorithm is willing to reawaken that old content for a fresh burst of views. It's a very low-effort strategy that occasionally results in surprising new traction for old material. Now for your final assignment to put this into practice immediately. I want you to identify 3 or 4 specific hooks that perfectly describe your ideal follower. Like, you're a podcaster who needs easy clip creation. Or maybe you are an indie creator struggling with a tiny marketing budget. Or you are house hunting in a specific city and need local insights. For each hook, record a simple reel using generic B-roll footage as your background visual. Overlay your key text points, ensuring each line stays visible for the full 4 to 5 seconds, and pair it with trending audio. Make sure your caption always includes that clear follow prompt, and remember to save a duplicate copy in your drafts. Launch one copy into the test pool, let it run for 24 to 72 hours, and then aggressively double down on the one that shows any real engagement. If you want to scale this entire rigorous process without immediately needing to hire a full-time editor, plug your long videos directly into Vizard. Let the platform handle the heavy lifting by automatically extracting high-performing segments, generating test variants, and managing the entire schedule. It transforms what was once an exhausting all-day editing chore into a simple, repeatable system. Test, learn, and then immediately repeat the cycle. So there you have it. That is the exact shoulder-to-shoulder guide I have been personally using to manage my short-form content. Do not allow yourself to get frustrated when the majority of your initial tests inevitably fail, because that outcome is completely expected. You must frame every single post as a low-stakes, data-gathering experiment, nothing more and nothing less. Remember to use the drafts and duplication features to expertly manage content distribution across platforms. Always keep clarity in your hook as the #1 priority above all else. The moment you identify a format that works well, your primary job becomes repeating and iterating on that specific winner. And if you genuinely want to accelerate your velocity and increase your test variance, tools like Vizard drastically reduce the friction of the workflow. They handle the heavy editing, scheduling, and calendar management, freeing you up to spend more time actually creating content. Go try this system out today, and please let me know in the comments or via DM how your first batch of tests performs. If you are subscribed to my email list, send me a quick reply because I genuinely love hearing about the unique formats people discover. Seriously, you absolutely have the capacity to make this work. You've totally got this. Keep putting things into the test pool, keep iterating based on the data you collect, and try your best not to overthink the small details. The algorithm will always seem strange and unpredictable, but consistent, structured testing is the only thing that reliably beats it in the long run. That is all for this one, so talk to you all in the next video soon.